Guys, so in section 2.4, you saw that when we graph these linear inequalities, it involves shading one side of the line or the other. So I'm going to show you how to do some shading on MyMathLab. So the MyMathLab problem that I chose to do was 3x minus y is less than 3. And you can see here that I did it out on my paper. I started by deciding whether the line was dotted or solid. This one's dotted because it does not have an equal bar. Then I took a look at my boundary line, which is the same as the inequality except it has an equal sign. So 3x minus y equals 3. I put it into slope-intercept form. Y equals 3x minus 3. And then from that, I went ahead and I'm going to graph it using my y-intercept of that 0, -3 and my slope of 3. And then after I graph it, the normal boundary line, I will use a test point. I chose 0, 0 because it's not on the boundary line. I plugged it into the original and I went through and found that I got a true statement. So I'm going to show you how to put that all onto MyMathLab. All right. All right, so over to MyMathLab. Okay, so here's that problem I just talked you through. So I'm going to go ahead and click to enlarge the graph just like before. And just like before, I'm going to start by telling MyMathLab that we're graphing something similar to a line. So I grab the line tool. Now this is a new part. We're going to have to tell MyMathLab whether it's a solid line or a dotted line. MyMathLab defaults to a solid line. So if that's what you want, you don't have to do anything. But as I mentioned before, we know we want a dotted line because over here we have an inequality that doesn't have an equal bar. So we can change from solid to dotted right here. I'll pick the dotted line. And then I graph my slope-intercept version, which was y equals 3x minus 3. So I'll use my b, my -3. That's my y-intercept. So I'll put a dot at 0, -3. And then from there, I'll use my slope to get to a second point. So my slope was 3 over 1. So from the point I already have, I'll go up 3. That's the +3. Right 1. That's the +1. All right, so there is my boundary line, but now we have to do the shading. And to do the shading, we pick any point not on the boundary line. I chose 0, 0. If that's not available to choose, I just choose something with small numbers. I plugged it in and I got a true statement. So, oh no, I just moved that. What did I do? We will delete that and just put that right back in. I forgot I have a touch screen. There we go. 1, 2, 3 over 1. All right. Now to go ahead and shade, what we do is we pick this bucket tool right here and we go to the side that we want to shade. When I plugged in 0, 0, I got a true statement. If you get a true statement, that's the answer side and you shade that side by just clicking anywhere over on that side and MyMathLab will shade it for you. If I would have gotten a false statement, I would have jumped the line and shaded the other side. Now we do need to save this graph. And then from there, we can check it on MyMathLab. There we go. So let me know if you have any questions about the shading. Good luck with section 2.4.